Tonight on the Big D and J Rowdy Show, Rowdy stalls in the burnout box. My wife intimidates an old lady in the staging lanes. And I lose to a Jeep.
Wow. How do you follow that? We definitely had a big week last week with all the car stuff going on in Flint, around Flint, Dream Cruise, Modern Street Hemi Shootout, Roadkill Nights. Quite a bit of stuff going on.
It was a long week.
I was
tired.
The busiest week I've ever had. Like, when I went back to work, I was less busy and happy about it.
Got a vacation from your vacation. So Tuesday, this all started on Tuesday for me. Started getting the car and truck and trailer ready.
Yeah. You had got to go borrow one, and I had bought one that sat out behind my garage for months without being used. So,
got that all set. Had to replace a board on the borrowed trailer. Got that ready to go. Change the tires on the car over to the race tires. And Wednesday we had a rain out for...
Yeah, back to the bricks.
Back to the bricks.
Yeah. It started out nice, and then right around the time that we planned on going anyway, it started getting rainy. I went down there at the end of Wednesday night to spectate for literally 20 minutes before they closed the street down.
Yeah, you live a lot closer to me. You can actually do that kind of stuff.
So, but now the trailer you borrowed is ginormous.
It is. I swear it's an equipment trailer.
Do you have any trouble getting your car up on that?
No. My father-in-law, of all people, helped me load it up just fine.
No, let me tell you. I bought my car trailer is substantially lower than the one Big D used. And I even bought a set of taller front runner tires to get this bitch up on the trailer. And it fought me every step of the way Wednesday. I had to go out and put it in my ditch. And then get 8-foot-long boards to extend my ramps just to get it up on there. But I got it up on there. I used my really cool new trick strap kit that I got. And everything went good. So it was nice to be able to load your own car behind your own awesome truck and then tow it down there. You felt like big boy status.
Yeah, even me using the borrowed trailer, this is the first time I ever did that, period.
I don't care what anybody says about race car, street car, trailer, or driving it. It's flipping awesome when you trailer your car.
Oh, for sure. It felt like next level stuff to me. Like I've been working my whole life towards this deal. Borrowed trailer or not, I don't care.
It's squad goals of towing your car with your buddies to the track.
Right.
So we did that on Wednesday night to get ready for early morning departure. What time did you roll out? Thursday morning?
20 after 6, which was pretty good for waking up the 2-year-old.
Right. I was out on the road by 6:45 and then had to get gas, and then the people at McDonald's wanted to take forever. So I actually hit the road on my way down there by 7.
Okay. So how long were you actually there before I got there? Your car was unloaded when I pulled into the pits.
Unloaded and went to tech, which tech was a little bit ridiculous when we got up there. I've never been teched like that before.
That was the easiest tech I've ever been through for me.
I had to go get my helmet.
I didn't. He looked around my hood, said, "Okay, you can shut your hood and go now."
Really? He checked my helmet, checked the tags on my harnesses, asked me if my battery was in factory location, if it was because I had that firewall cover, so he asked if that was factory firewall. I had to explain that there was factory firewall behind that, and that was just a piece of flint. Yeah, he was all over. I couldn't believe it. I've never had my helmet checked at tech at Milan before.
No, well, normally, do you have a helmet and you show them a helmet? And that's...
I kind of want a new helmet, one that's airbrush cool. But maybe once I'm famous, if we get enough likes on our podcast and Facebook, maybe I'll be famous enough to get a cool helmet.
Yeah. So we got down there early in the morning, got checked in, tacked, 15-minute driver meeting or so.
Yeah, which was nice. It was the most organized event I've ever been to.
Oh, yeah. It was the fastest moving event I've ever been to.
It's important to note because later things that happened later in the week were not nearly as organized as this. And this wasn't put on by a big corporation, but Dan and Stell have been doing it for a while now. I don't know how many years, but it's been a while. At least 6.
Yeah. That was, like you said, by far the most organized race event I've ever been involved in.
Roadkill, from what I heard.
Yeah. We'll
cover that later. But
so we got checked in, ready to go, and we started our free practice rounds. We got two passes.
2
that weren't seen as qualifying or anything.
Yep. Then you got you got 2. You got as many as you could fit in, really. If you wanted to hot lap it, you could hot lap it. But I settled for 2. I should have settled for more.
Yeah, I took 2. My car was already heat soaked as it was, so it wasn't going to go no faster anyway.
Yeah, the Pro Tree is what I really needed practice with. That was different for me. My reaction time on a Sportsman tree or standard tree is horrible. And then throw me in front of a Pro Tree, it's even worse. We
both work on reaction time. That was my first time, period, of being in front of a Pro Tree, though.
The only other time I did a Pro Tree, actually, it wasn't even a Pro Tree. It was instant green. The one time I ran at no ET, it was just instant green, which was really weird.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, my reaction times got better through the day, but unfortunately, we're still pretty crappy. But,
yeah, we're like 0.300s.
Yeah, my best light was 244.
I don't think I got a 2.
Pitiful.
I think you beat me this time. So we had to get down there. We had to find out where the car shook out to be in the class.
Right.
What it was heads-up racing.
Yeah, we were wondering wasn't really a big mystery for my car as much as it was yours as to what index you were going to run in. We were talking about several different setups or configurations to do what we needed to do to make the car run in the index.
Well, last podcast I talked about priding myself on being able to get in there and figure that it's going to run, X time, within a couple tenths. And we discussed it, and
at length.
Yeah, it was bad. It was because we had no data from Milan at all. No. I had 2 time slips from Milan, so, and that was last year even. So trying to remember what the setup was on the car and all of that, and what the race weight was, it was almost impossible. But Big D was like, "Just do this and run with it. I'm sure it'll be good." And I second guessed it. And then jumped on it. Sure shit. Took it down the track. First run. 0.06 of a second slower than what we wanted it to be.
Right.
So.
Which it was fairly good considering.
Right. We wanted to run something 0.5 with an O. It ran a something 0.5 with a 6. So something 0.56 was the time. And the index class it was in was 0.50 to
the next
to the next full second above it. It's kind of hard to explain without telling you what times I was running.
I was running a 1250 index. Let's just throw that out there.
I was not in that index.
No.
However, after the son of a bitchin' thing stalled in the burnout box, I qualified.
Was that during qualifying, or when did that happen?
No, that was during elimination.
That's right. Yeah.
So I qualified second fastest in my heads-up class. And it was a pro ladder, so I raced the second to last slowest.
Yeah.
So out of 9 cars, I raced the 8th guy. And I lost. I went out first round. And I ran a time that would have been competitive in Big D's index.
Yeah.
It was quite, I don't know what happened. Still don't know what happened.
So
I have my theories.
You were doing you set the line lock, you were doing your burnout, and what happened from there? I wasn't there.
It was just it's never happened before. Normally my car will stall after the burnout. This time it stalled during the burnout. Like I wasn't making enough power to turn my tires, and it bogged my motor right down, and it just stopped.
Wow.
So, and then it was slow to refire. I had to crank on it a couple times, and it
So you're flustered.
Yeah, it sounded like it was flooded too. So that, it would start and then stall itself out, and then Zach said that he seen a big puff of black smoke after it finally did refire. Okay. So that would mean that it was loaded up.
Right.
I thought I cleaned it out and got it running good enough. Put it in gear. Transmission was still in limp mode, meaning it would move forward but not fast.
Right.
So I tried to dry hop it, and it basically just free revved and moved me like 3 inches. So I put it back in park, turned it off, fired it back up again, dry hopped it, was fine, got up to the line, and tried to go, and then it just blah. I ran the same mile an hour I've always ran that day, right like within a mile an hour. But the ET was just not anywhere near what it needed to be, and I watched the guy the whole way down the track make almost a perfect pass until he got scared. He was running too fast. That's how bad he beat me. The number 8 qualifier was afraid he was going too fast.
Going to break out against you.
And actually hit the brakes.
Oh, wow.
The brakes came on. I think he crossed the traps at like 92 mile an hour.
Oh, jeez.
It was pretty bad. So that coupled with my ridiculously bad reaction time put me almost like probably two full seconds behind them, if not 1.5.
We were really kind of hoping we were thinking you were going to go rounds.
Yeah,
that was a gigantic disappointment.
That was if it didn't stall and I was on my reaction time a little bit better.
That was the second round, wasn't it?
That was first round. I went out first round.
Okay.
Yeah, keep asking questions about what round I went out after qualifying second. Yeah, went out first round. So, really disappointing because the car ran exactly right on the number every pass. Even in the next class that I raced in the bracket class, it ran right on the number every time. Yeah. So it was kind of...
Both the cars were very consistent.
It was kind of a letdown because I was running at the fast end of that index. So, I mean, I was 0.01 away from being too fast to be in that class. So, in theory, I should have went far.
So, as far as eliminations for me, I got eliminated first round on both the classes, both the Minor Street Hemi Shootout bracket and 1250 index. I got eliminated in the bracket class, and I was going up against one of those stage 6 Jeeps, one of several of them there.
I think the stage 6 Jeeps went almost like one class was nothing but stage 6 Jeeps finalists. 3 out of the 4 cars in that class were stage 6 Jeeps.
So the guy I was going against had a 1090 dial-in for the bracket. So I took off what we could call several seconds ahead of him. And I thought I cut a decent light. It was my best light of the day. And everything was going fine, and I got him. And here he comes. Right at the very end, just freight trains me. And
the turbo got to eating.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he had probably 30 mile an hour on me. It was ridiculous. And I ended up losing by 0.017, 17 thousandths of a second. I wasn't even 100% sure I lost until I got to the time slip. Check.
That's the hard. Those are the hard ones when you just they're the most exciting, but when you just barely lose like that,
it sucks being on the losing end of that one. Yeah. But he was cool about it. I followed him back to his pit just to talk to him about it, and the guy's like, "I'm sorry." And I'm like, "Don't be sorry. That's right? This is what we're doing." I mean,
well, DQ Dave,
part of racing,
super nice guy. Yeah, he's a nice guy.
So I wasn't asking him to apologize, but it was. I just wanted to say, hey, man, told him good race and, went back on our way.
So while you were busy getting eliminated, I had a dead battery in the staging lanes. which just added to more frustration. I couldn't get my shit started. Again, it was every time I go to Milan, I have that problem of it being dead. I don't know. I show up and it has a hard time starting on the trailer. So I let it run. I drove it over to Tech. I let it run. Everything was fine. I get to the freaking staging lanes and it doesn't start.
We've tested that battery too, haven't we?
We have, and I had that electrical fire, which may have been a parasitic draw on the battery.
Yeah.
So,
well,
but in bracket class, I won a couple rounds. 3 rounds.
Yeah.
3 rounds in the bracket class, which is I needed to win one more to get into the money, and as luck would have it, I drew the biggest douchebag at the racing event. And I can say that because I'm confident he's not going to listen to it. And everybody else that I talk to think he's the biggest douchebag too. The people that will listen to this think he is. I think you had a run-in with the same guy, didn't you?
Yeah, I certainly did. Yeah. I think it's, we won't say names, but this gentleman was from New York. And we heard from several people in the Modern Street Hemi Shootout clan that nobody really likes him. Yeah. Imagine that.
Yeah, and he just does his own thing, and nobody talks to him in the pits. He doesn't come around anybody in the pits.
He's a horrible sandbagger.
Big time. So what happened with you? Let's cover that, and then I'll cover what happened after that.
The wife incident. So the 1250 index gets called up first round. We're back in the pits. We're actually quite a ways away from the staging lanes, but they call my class. I hop in the car, wife hops in the car, and we roll up to the staging lanes. And even just that quick, we were the last car to the staging lanes for our class. And I get there, and right away, I haven't even stopped, figured out where. I mean, I know we had to pair off.
Have you ever been paired before?
No.
Okay. Me neither. This is
I've never been paired off, or I'm just. I think it was lanes 3 and 4, so I'm going to go to lanes 3 and 4 and see what happens.
Yep.
And right away, before I even get stopped, this guy's pointing his finger at me and shaking his finger at me like something's going on. And I get stopped, and I said, well, I must be racing this guy, apparently. And I get stopped, and this guy's wife sticks her head in my car and starts screaming at me about him getting lane choice, and I need to get in the left lane, and he's got right lane, and getting all...
Don't race officials handle that?
I would certainly think so.
Did they even have time to handle it? Or was this lady just running it off?
I didn't even have the car in park yet. And, all right.
I wasn't around for this. So
Rowdie knows my wife, but to anybody that knows my wife, most people think she comes off as very ladylike and proper.
Yeah.
And nice.
Yeah, she's a sweetheart. She's nice.
But deep down, there's this Rottweiler, pit bull, whatever you want to say in there, and somebody just crossed her man.
Well, you got to think. Yeah, most girls in general, right? If you cross their man or a kid, they're gonna go ape shit on you.
Yeah, so she certainly did that.
So, but it just wasn't Saab. You had Saab's best friend with you.
Yeah. Well, she sometimes comes along to events or whatever, but it's kind of a good thing that, just as a joke, she hopped in the front seat instead of my wife, because I really think there would have been a physical altercation had that spot's been reversed.
Yeah. So Saab gave her some shit back.
Yeah, and I can't remember exactly what she said, but the dust settled at least enough for me to get to the front, because we were the first pair down apparently. So dust settled enough for me to get in front of the pack and get in my left lane, because he wanted right lane so fucking bad. And
you know what though, just to that, the right lane I feel like I'm mile an hour better on, which is weird because I had better mile an hour out of the right lane, but I had quicker ETs out of the left.
Yeah, my 60-foots were best out of the left.
Yeah.
So
I mean, the only reason he would want right is so he can see his light.
Right.
A little bit better.
Right. Yeah. Well, anyways, I get in my left lane, and he pulls up next to me, and finally I'm just like, what was that all about? Like, you're just like he's like a veteran of the point series and everything, and we're just there for our first time. It's the first time they've come local. We haven't been to any races, or at least you haven't, in several years.
Yep.
I haven't at all. And I basically tell the guy, through several curse words, obviously, you're treating me like some piece of crap that don't even belong here, and I'm feeling pretty disrespected right now. And he runs his mouth again, and his wife starts running her mouth again. Sabrina gets upset again. He goes to get out of his car, nearly hits my car with his door. Sabrina, of course, is in the back, freaks out. You watch your effing door. And, we just had the car painted this year, and so it kind of degenerated again. He called my wife a piece of crap, and I, of course, turned into, don't talk to my wife that way. And they got out and were going up to the gate there to film my launch at the line and everything, and the burnout and whatnot, like they always do. And his wife starts running her mouth again to her as she's walking away. And that pisses my wife off even more.
I always got to wait till your back is turned and walking away.
She said, don't talk shit to me as I'm turning my back. You get over here and talk to me to my face. And next thing you know, this guy and his wife are 3 cars back, staying away from me and everybody else.
So you didn't even have to race them?
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, I don't have to race this guy anymore.
Huh.
And the guy got over and moved to another lane, and I said, so you mean after all that, I don't have to race you? Oh, well, the guy at the clipboard don't know what the hell he's talking about.
Yeah.
So I personally believe that got switched. I don't know. Well, I mean, I can't say for sure because I wasn't the guy with the clipboard, but I've seen that shit happen before.
Right. While this was happening, I was in my pit being mad that I was second qualifier, went out first round because you ran after me. So I didn't know any of this was going on.
Right. Yeah.
So all of that happens. You run. You went out.
Yeah.
We get back. And something came up about it, but wasn't quite. I mean, I was just kind of listening and not really picking up on who was who or what. Because I had to go get back in line to do bracket racing because I drove past you when you were at the tent.
Yeah.
And my dog's in the studio. So I had to drive past you, and I seen you were talking to a guy and a girl, but they were just at the Modern Street Hemi tent. And Sabrina had just told me, or Betty had just told me that they, almost had to get physical with some old lady. Those weren't exact words.
Okay, well, I think it's important to point out when we say old lady, she was probably early 50s.
Well, it's
not like we're not talking about like somebody
that's older than us. And she looked older.
Yeah.
So, but anyways. So I go get in and do my next pass. I win that round, and then I'm talking to Saab up in the lanes while you were, I don't know where you were at, but you were done racing for the day.
Yeah.
I was talking to Saab up on the bleachers, and I'm like, well, what's he look like? Just short little puny little guy, and he drives a black Charger with a blue stripe on it, which is a Mopar 10 or 11 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So I was like, I still don't know who this guy is. Well, then you'd come back, and I was going to jump in your car. You're going to give me a ride all the way to the end of the track, basically to our pit.
Right.
So I could be close to my car when they called us up for next round for bracket. Evidently, they called us up when we were in your car because I didn't hear it. Next thing you know, they're calling car number 600 to the lanes like now.
Yeah.
So I jump in and get up there as fast as I can, and I get up there. This scrawny, wiry-haired dude outside a black car starts pointing at me. And I'm like, there's no way. There's no way we're lucky enough to have to race this same asshole. Yeah. So I get up there and, pretty laid back, easygoing, fun-loving guy. I said, sorry, I was late for the party, guys. I didn't have to wait on me, yada, yada. And he's like, it's me and you. It's me and you. I want this lane. I said, okay, so that's how we're laddered, because I wasn't told that by a race official.
I was so obsessed with lane choice.
Right.
I told him I'd race him out on the street in front of the track and let him pick a fucking lane. I didn't give a shit. I never have. So
the only way I really... Okay, so like at Lapeer, I really like being in the spectator lane. It's the other side of the track, which would be the right side of the track, because I can see the light better, and I actually like that right side of the track. Everybody at Lapeer races in the tower side.
Lane. I always get the fast times in the tower lane.
But I like the other side. I don't know why.
Whatever it works, right?
Right. So I really don't care either, unless there's like a substantial difference or I can see the light a little bit better. But this guy, so we're waiting, and they're all talking, and most of the other douchebags with him weren't very talkative either. So I was trying to be talkative to the point of being an ass.
Yeah.
So, but I walked by the guy, and when he got in, I was like, cool, man, I'm going to do this. Good luck. And he just looked at me, and then I was like, good talk.
Yeah.
Good talk. Fuck you. Got in my car.
He was...
And I wanted so bad to beat this guy, but he got like almost like over a 2.5 second head start on me. Couple that with my shitty reaction time. He had almost a 3-second head start. So if I cut a good light, I might have been able to get him.
Yeah.
But I mean, he cut like a 0.17 something on a pro tree, which is... I'll never get there. I'm lucky to get a 0.1 on a normal tree. Yeah. So I really wanted to beat that guy, but he beat me. Good news is he went out next round, so he didn't even get second place. So
yeah, he was pitted in the row behind us and slightly down the way a little bit. So I think he saw my car and your car and deduced, or whatever you want to say, that we were buddies. So I don't think he was. That's why he was so talkative with you.
Shit, I'd talkative to just about everybody out there. I didn't even know who he was until like I got up there and it was like, oh, this is douchebag that I just heard about.
Right.
Like, and he sandbags, but dude, he was on the brakes. Now, braking in bracket racing is not frowned upon, but
no, you got to do what you got to do.
Right, but a lot of rules will say excessive braking is, will result in disqualification or what have you. And I'll tell you what, that dude damn near excessively was braking.
Yeah.
Like, he slowed way down.
You don't get a bad reputation in that crew of people.
No, everybody there is so nice.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it would take a lot.
Yep.
To get a bad reputation like that, to have where most of the people you talk to are like, yeah, he's kind of a dick.
Yeah. When I went over there, I said that to a group of Modern Street Hemi Shootout veterans over there, and was like, I don't know if he's any of you guys' friends, but that guy is an asshole. And they all just started laughing. They're like, well, we seen that you had to race him, and we weren't going to say anything. We were just going to let you form an opinion of him. I was like, well, my opinion of him is he's an ass. And I guess he's been racing with them for like two or 3 years and has not been welcome to the pit crew party.
Oh.
After like the first 2 races.
Huh. So. All right, moving on. So we both had an okay track. Everything
was okay.
Stayed together.
That was the most runs I've ever got at Milan in my whole entire life.
Oh, for sure.
Even at the other Mopar events, we get 2 or 3.
Yeah.
I think I did 7.
Yeah.
6 or 7.
So we both got eliminated, and then they had the King of the Hill, where it turns into all the class winners.
Yep. Pick a dial-in. It's a bracket race.
It's a bracket race. So, I mean, you don't have the top dog running the 1250 winner. I mean,
yeah,
running heads up or anything. But that winner of that ended up being Chris Harrigan, the guy from Legmaker, who I run his true cold air intake.
Dude, and that car was screaming. That car was fast.
Yeah.
And it sounded like it was just like...
That's one of the craziest sounding cars there.
But it wasn't just loud. It was like a good loud.
Yeah.
I think my car sounds good because its exhaust note, that one I think sounded better.
Yeah.
So I might have to look into that.
Yeah. So then we pretty much went home. It was a long day in the sun.
Yeah.
Friday, the next day, we went to the Roadkill event.
Yep, I was up at like 8:30, getting the car off the trailer by myself. And out in my ditch. My neighbor's looking at me, and I'm like,
that's crazy.
Offer to help or something, you know.
Yeah.
So, but I got it off there and then scraped like what felt like an inch of rubber off my car and out of my wheel wells.
Yeah.
And got it all prettied up because you were at the Modern Street Hemi lot.
Yeah.
I got to park in Roadkill nights.
Yeah.
As part of the, I'm doing air quotes here, show and shine.
Yeah.
Which was...
There was some nice stuff there. There was some Roadkill stuff there.
When they sent me everything after I signed up for it, it was just through Dodge. It was through the LX forums through Dodge. They made it seem like I would have to like mother's maiden name and show up and have like passwords and naming your first pet type deal. So I got down there early enough and anybody could have just drove in there. They didn't even like look my name up or nothing. And I went and parked. And I'm in my mind, I'm like, well, all the Dodges are going to be together. So I was looking for all the Dodges. Well, Dodges were everywhere. So I found a spot to park and got it all cleaned up because I drove through a monsoon on the way down there. All the way down there, it was raining. So I got it cleaned up and then got into Roadkill. I got there at 4. What time did you get?
Yeah, I got there a little bit later than that. That was such a big event. I mean,
it was ginormous.
Size.
Yeah.
You know, just
like
I
actual
felt like I could have
venue size.
Yeah, I felt like I could have got there several hours sooner.
Yeah.
And still not gotten to spend the amount of time and everything.
Did you walk down far enough to see my car? Did you walk past where mine was?
No.
Dude, it went down. Okay, so it went down so far down the track. It was like another 10 to 15 minute walk from where the Hellcats were drifting at to my car.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's quite a ways out.
Yeah, it's definitely next year. I'm sure they'll have it again. I read an article that said 30-some thousand people
Yeah, they
showed
would
up.
they'd be stupid to not have it again.
Yeah.
I like last year's better because it was more compact of a footprint and they still had just about everything there. The only show and shine cars were Dodge, which if Dodge is putting it on, I think it's okay for them to be like only Dodge cars.
Right.
Because they're putting it on as far as show cars go.
Sure.
But this year they opened it up to everybody. And there was some cool stuff there.
Yeah. It was definitely, like you say, it was definitely a lot of walking. If they do have it at the M1 concourse again next year, I'm definitely going to make it more of a priority to get down there sooner to try to see everything. That was kind of one of the few mistakes I think we made this year. I should have devoted more time to Roadkill, but we'll try it again next year and see what happens.
Yeah, I think I'm actually want to devote more time to Roadkill and not the Roadkill street races.
Right.
Because that sucked. I mean, it was cool, but man, there was a half an hour, 40 minutes in between some runs.
Yeah.
And
we had the Supra.
The Super Fire.
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
Started on, I guess it was some sort of oil fire, the oil cooler lines were leaking and got on the turbo and started to fire. And of course, they did what they had to do to put the fire out at the line, but that also ton of cleanup afterwards.
Right. Well, before you got there, me and Jeanette were sitting in the stands for a good half an hour before they even did any more runs. Then we decided to get up and go walk around. Right. We went and seen Stubby Bob.
Yeah.
And a couple other cars.
General Mayhem there. Yep. I know the muscle truck was there. all my favorite stuff from Roadkill shows were there. It was pretty cool to see them in real life too.
Yeah. Then we went and checked out the dyno, and by then you were in the stands. We come back and you said there was a super fire, and then there was even more of a wait.
Yeah.
You know, not to mention all the rules that they put in place.
I heard some people didn't even get a run in, let alone the two they were promised.
Yep, I know. I got two friends that made one run apiece, and I mean, one of them should have been in the top 4 for Dodge. I mean, it's the world's fastest Hellcat.
Yeah.
And it didn't even make the final 4 for Dodge. Wow. But a car that I raced that I know went 1088 because he beat me was in the show. I'm like, that doesn't compute.
Right.
And then later I find out that car didn't even get to run, the fast Hellcat.
Yeah.
It got to run once.
What my favorite part of that event was just randomly walking through, and I hear David Freiberger on a microphone, and get to walk a little closer to where I hear it from, and I hear Finnegan's voice, and you walk around the corner, and they're like on a makeshift stage, and Finnegan is out in the crowd taking questions, and Freiberger's on top answering. And a few minutes later, somebody took the microphone from Finnegan, and he got on the stage, and I got to listen to 20 or 25 minutes of question and answer with those two guys. So that was definitely, closer than 99% of the people ever got to even be to them. So I was staying within 20 feet of them, so I got to basically hang out with them for 20 minutes.
Oh, that's cool.
So that made the whole thing worth it for me.
I need to watch that show a little bit more. Like, every now and then, if it comes across Facebook, I'll watch a little bit. I don't watch it religiously, but I feel like I need to because they do some cool stuff on there.
Well, not everybody has to be as crazy as me, but I wish I would have asked them. People may or may have not seen the last episode where they put, I want to say it's a 56 Buick body on a C3 Corvette chassis.
Oh.
They never quite finished that one. So I was hoping to ask them when we'd see that and when we'd see it finished, but never really got to do that. But it's still pretty cool to hang out with those guys for like that.
I might have to Google that project. That sounds kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's an awful big body, though.
Yeah, they lengthened the frame 2 feet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
So it looks cool. It's rusted as crap, but it looks cool. So got through the Roadkill event on Friday and ended up going home the next day for Dream Cruise.
Yeah.
You went a lot earlier in the morning than I did.
I went a lot earlier because we always go to I don't drive the bully down to the Dream Cruise because it's just trying to drive in that gets a little frustrating, and my car actually gets really hot and almost overheats, so I got to pull off. It's breathing in super hot air because everybody's exhaust. It's super hot in the car because everybody's around, and it's just not enjoyable for me to drive the car during the Dream Cruise. So we always go down separate and park by the GM Performance Parts one because there's always a car show behind there that's always got some really cool cars in it. And then parking behind that is only $10. And then so if you sit there, you get some shade.
Should point out that's super cheap.
Yep. So you got shade. The porta potties are right there, and then it's like seriously a 5-minute walk back to your car, and it only costs $10 to park. So we did that, and we got down there probably about 10:30, maybe 11 o'clock, somewhere in there, and sat for probably until about 12. Then we went and walked around and checked out some stuff. Went down to the Dodge area, and I feel like it was Roadkill in a smaller parking lot. Everything that you've seen at Roadkill nights, pretty much everything that you would want to see at Dodge was at Roadkill nights. So there was really no reason to go down there. I mean, they handed out free T-shirts and all this and that. I mean, they did that at Roadkill nights too, but the lines were just ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I get enough spam in my email anyway. I don't need to fill it out for that. But
right.
And then we got rained on pretty hard down there. Then we went back and watched another hour or so of cruising, and then headed home. I didn't see anything super remarkable down there that I haven't seen before. I mean, there's that big tire 69 Charger that's orange with the purple cage and the purple tube chassis and everything. I don't know if you've ever seen that before.
Yep.
But I like that car. It looks good. I don't know that it's necessarily a setup for racing or if he made it like that as a...
something to drive around the street and
more like a show car type thing, but it's a nice looking car. It sounds good too.
Oh yeah. Saturday we had some obligations in Lapeer we had to take care of in the morning, so we ended up going down in the afternoon, and I was at the Modern Street Hemi shootout lot in Pontiac, and I will never go to Royal Oak again.
I feel like I'm never going back to Royal Oak after what I've seen posted and what I've heard from you about what happens in Pontiac.
Those were my people in Pontiac. Those were my people.
Yeah. Was that Harry Balls that did that burnout? Was that Harrison from Stage 6 that did
I'm not sure. But I know, I just remember making the joke with my wife that people close to us in Flint were dying because of not having clean drinking water. But we were pouring water on the street in Pontiac for people to do burnouts in.
Yeah, if you squeal the tires the slightest up in Royal Oak, you're getting a ticket.
Oh, yeah.
It's not fun there anymore.
Way more uptight. Way, way, way more.
In fact, I think I read an article that said that the center of the Dream Cruise might move out of Royal Oak to Pontiac now that M1 is there.
Jeez. Yeah.
If that happens, Pontiac might not be any fun anymore.
Yeah.
It might be more, who knows. But,
we'll have to wait and see.
But you guys had an ice luge there for Fago.
Yeah. I can't imagine what all those out-of-towners thought.
I know. I even posted there, like, what do you out-of-towners know about Fago? Like, they don't know. They don't know about Fago, Kogels, or Werners. Right. They don't know about any of that.
No. But that was cool. Like you said, it felt more natural. It felt more just loose and casual.
It looked like there was a decent amount of cars down there.
Yeah. It was definitely a lot of fun. I mean, even getting there to the lot, I had people stopping me and wanting me to do burnouts and stuff, but the traffic was so packed at that point of the day. I mean, that was like a little bit early in the afternoon.
Yeah.
That I just looked at them. It's too many cars, man. Like, I don't want to be.
Because you'll do a burnout. I look at them like.
Yeah, I ain't no bitch. I'm not gonna back down.
I just look at them like my tires cost $350 each.
It's just, I mean, I just didn't want to be that guy on the internet that ends up on Jalopnik and every other automotive website. Look at this asshole in a purple Charger hit a tree on Woodward.
Look at this Charger Mustang.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't want that to happen because, I mean, I didn't want to. I don't want to hit another person. I don't want to hit somebody else's car. So that's probably where I'd end up is somebody's front yard and then in their tree. So I passed on the burnouts, but just for safety, not because I was wimping out or nothing. But we were there in the lot till about 8 o'clock. It was starting to kind of die down a little bit, and we made the mistake of going up into Royal Oak. Don't ask me why. And even that time of night, I still was getting hot. It was getting close to overheating. I turned the heat on. I did everything I could to try to keep it cool.
We've gotten hot before, me and Jeanette, and I'll turn on the heat, and she's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "That actually
pull the heat off. It pulls heat off the motor a little bit. I mean, every little bit helps." But
it's just kind of ridiculous anymore in Royal Oak. I feel like. Even when we go down there during the normal year without it being the Dream Cruise, where it just kind of isn't any fun down there.
Right.
And a lot of people moved to Pontiac. I told you last last podcast we talked about it, the old boys that drug me down there. So I
Yeah.
think I might spend a lot more time down there on the loop.
Yeah.
Next year.
Well, that and, maybe we can squeeze it in our trip down there and just some
Right.
weekend. Try
Yeah.
to check it out. But, so I got out of there about 9:30, stopped and got some food and went home. But you stayed home.
Yeah, well, we were
After you
debating
got-
coming down.
Yeah.
And right when we were going to leave, we got because I was going to take the Charger back down for some, evening shenanigans down there.
Here's where we differ. This is something that we disagree on. I will always run all seasons on my street wheels, no matter what. Because of that, just if it rains,
Yeah.
I can still get home.
I mean, I can get home, and
Very,
it's
very slowly.
a really scary ride. It depends on, how much adrenaline rush I want, because it'll just snap on you without even, it's different when you get on the gas really hard and you can feel the ass end start coming around. This will just go in, 65, 70 down the E-way, and it's wet with the drag radios on. It just comes around on you.
Yeah.
And that's not good.
No, I understand you want to have them on there for
They only work
reasons.
at 40 now.
But, it's just something you and I differ with.
Right.
But,
Plus, I never drive my car in the rain.
I
Unless,
try not to, but
yeah.
it's a street car. But,
I can't do it. I like to keep it too clean.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we stayed home, and
you were watching Outlaw Armageddon.
yeah, which actually started at 5 o'clock our time, so I didn't miss any of it.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, I was kind of a little disappointed. I was expecting more from it, being one of the biggest no prep races ever. But it wasn't everything I thought it would be and more. So I actually kind of got bored, which is why I was ready to turn it off and come down to Woodward.
Yeah.
But I will say, funniest thing, man, first pair down the track, it was Outlaw Street. So they had to do like a 50-mile cruise and come back to the lot.
Yeah.
First pair down the street, 2 Mustangs. I'll be damned if they manage to hit each other on the way down the track.
Wow.
Me and Jeanette are watching it, and I'm just like, I can't believe it. And Jeanette goes, why do Mustangs always Mustang? And she owned a Mustang, so she kind of gets a little bit offended when I make fun of them. But so that put a half an hour delay right off the top, half an hour delay, and Big Chief wasn't there.
Yeah,
he wasn't racing,
which is strange.
Yep. Come to find out, he didn't want to risk anything with the NHRA event coming up that he's going to be racing in. Big Chief Street.
Yeah.
But, I mean, anybody that drag races like that wants to drag race and get paid for it and be able to drag race for the rest of their life. So he's got this great opportunity. I can't blame him, but at the same time, it's kind of like, man, everybody, like, defending the title, everybody was waiting for you to be there. He even said he'd be there on the podcast last week.
Yeah, I feel like, I don't know. I mean, I'm not the guy's boss.
Right.
Geez,
So, John Quick didn't go. I didn't even see Kip there.
Huh.
So the only guy that went was Brian Davis with his new car. And
you were telling me something happened with him in the beginning.
Yeah, he according to what I've read on Facebook, is he called out, or he said in the drivers' meeting that he would race anybody. So a driver was like, you race anybody? Okay, I'll race you. And they get up there, and I mean, this guy that he raced ended up winning the event. But he had like sponsors on the side of his car, NHRA Pro Mod rig, like not
this
just
was a corporate team.
Not just what people are like. Oh, Kai Kelly's car is a Pro Mod, or Big Chief's car is a Pro Mod. when you look at Big Chief's car, it does look pro mod because it's stretched
It's a
out.
pro mod chassis.
But when I think pro mod, I think a big blower hanging out the hood, basically top fuel looking motor in a door car.
Right.
And that's what this dude had. And he wasn't even on the invite list. He raced his way in.
Wow.
So he won the race your way in, is what I'm assuming. But I don't even know if they did money for who won race your way in because there were so many cars that came out of the invite. So out of the 31, people didn't make it.
Yeah.
Like Chief and John Quick weren't there. I think there was a couple others that didn't make it. Yeah. So they ended up taking more. There ended up being 2 pro mods in the final. But before that happened, let's back this up to Brian Davis went out first round.
Yeah.
Sean Murder Nova went out first round.
Yeah.
Remember he was talking all that smack about the Blue Devil or Blue Dragon or whatever that was, about it being slow.
Yeah.
Well, all last week before the race, the driver, the captain, I guess is what they call him, was calling Sean out and throwing shade at Sean. And they got there, and this guy put 3-4 cars
Didn't he
on
say
Sean.
he'd come unfuck his car? I feel like I read that somewhere.
I think he said that somewhere. But regardless of it, but then no, he said he was like, yeah, no, I was going fast when I was going 440s, and I'm going 420s and 410s, and like, well, it's a beautiful car too.
Yeah,
it's a blue Camaro. It's beautiful. He drug Sean's ass, and then we got Birdman raced Daddy Dave. Now I am a huge Birdman fan.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh man, is Birdman going to race? This is going to be a close one because Daddy Dave took out the Cuddy first round, and which that was like the Cuddy moved 5 feet off the line, and then that was it. I don't know, something. Oh. There was a mechanical.
We can find out. We have an insider.
Right.
Ooh.
Yeah, we'll find that out. And so Daddy Dave was throwing molten metal out of his headers when he crossed the finish line in front of Birdman, and still had it running good enough to come back the next round and almost win.
Yeah.
But I think Plan B took him out. So it was good as far as Big Tire Invitational goes, but it's flipping pro mods. Yeah. I get that everybody's definition maybe of a pro mod is different, but if you show up with a sponsored car, now say what you want, Big Chief being sponsored by whoever or this and that, but you are sponsored enough to travel the United States and race.
We're not talking about like parts sponsorship where you get discounts.
Right.
We're talking like
a company's name on the whole side of the car.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and then to show up to that,
yeah. I mean, it's a question that we've been, have pro mods ruin street racing or no prep?
I feel like the pro mod chassis hasn't, because a lot of cars have a chassis now, right. And they might even be considered a pro mod chassis. But man, then it's hard to make a rule. To me, it's hard to make a rule on that because
it's kind of like Drag Week when they're talking about that. Like, yeah, you're gonna put a rule on the unlimited class?
Yeah,
unlimited means unlimited,
right? So I don't. But if they could somehow take the corporate cars out of it or something, but you can't really do that,
right?
So I mean,
people have brought up minimum weights, maybe.
Right. Well, for crying out loud, Pro Mod showed up to Roadkill Nights, man.
Yeah.
It's an epidemic of Pro Mods street racing.
But hey, it was definitely cool to watch.
It was cool.
Tom Bailey make a pass on Woodward.
So look, Mr. Drag Week, Tom Bailey, come to Woodward and win $10,000. Go do something else.
Right.
Take
Shouldn't you have been down at Armageddon?
Right. Yeah. Oh, you weren't on the invite list. Yeah. So you decided to come here and rain on all the Detroit guys who, had fast street cars.
Right. I guess for me, and I've said this several times, fast is great. I love fast, but there's a point of diminishing returns for me. You know, I respect a 8-second street car more than I do a pro mod. Just me. You know, like even as a small child.
Well, I like to see the fast drag week cars because they get driven a lot. But I just like fast door cars, but I don't think that actual pro mods have a spot in street racing. Maybe No Prep Racing has its own division for, you know, maybe making a big tire class and then an unlimited class.
Right.
You know, with just basically minimum weight requirements. Run whatever motor you want, but
sure,
different weights maybe.
Yeah, I mean, like I was saying, even as a small child, watching all the NHRA classes and stuff, because you know, we obviously didn't have this back then.
Right.
It was the pro stocks for sure, and even to this day, that interests me the most. The fuel cars, they are what they are, but they're not my favorite. But I think a lot of people are like that. They want to see stuff that they can at least recognize where it came from.
Which, I mean, if you really get it, small tires actually
small
more
tires.
car, you know? Or even True Street. True Street, holy cow, those guys are still super fast.
Yeah. I got nothing against a big tire car. I don't want to, want that to come off.
But. Right, but no, I'm just saying that even now, some big tire cars have got fiberglass lift-off bodies, or they're a little bit stretched, or I mean, have you seen Doc's car lately?
Oh my God!
I don't know if anything's been done to Doc's car, but that hood looks 2 miles long.
Yeah,
it was already a mile long.
I think I don't even think it has a front bumper on the front anymore. It's so low to the ground.
Yeah. So I mean, it's kind of like everybody's pushing that limit.
Yeah.
In the big tire class, there's not a lot of small tire guys that are doing that.
No.
So.
But I don't know. It's obviously the end of August. We've got a couple of months left, realistically.
Yep. End of October.
We can sometimes stretch it into November, but I usually try to have my car put away on Halloween. That's kind of the rule.
That's usually what I try to do, yeah.
Yeah. So,
unless it's warm out still.
Yeah. Last year was crazy. I mean, it was 60 degrees on Christmas.
Yeah.
But so we've got basically let's just call it a third of the season left. So what's left and what are we up to?
I just want to do one no ET, which it looks like finances or timing might not allow for me to run the car. I'm going to be able to go to it, which I like to go watch. Yeah. But
there's a no ET on the September the 17th.
Yep.
At Milan. The weekend prior to that, it's a Frankenmuth car show.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, I have that. Big deal. I can go that Friday night where they close down Main Street and line everything up. So I'm going to go to that. I have to work that weekend, but
okay.
Then the next weekend is the no ET.
Your birthday too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah,
Maybe I'll find a way to get the bully down there. We'll run the bully and celebrate your birthday at the same time.
Yeah. Well, the real party is like a month later, but
right.
That's all right. So, got that, and then there's like the fall Opie event.
Yep. And for me, that's it. After the Opie event, that's it. That's early October.
Yeah.
I might get it out, cruise around town or take it, if we go, me and Jeanette have a date night, we'll take the bully.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, we still got some street car left to do. That'll be good.
Yeah.
It's always a sad day when it gets put down for the winter.
For me, man, it's very stressful this year to put it away for the winter because I got big plans.
Yeah.
And we're just thinking about it, Michigan now. It's stressful for me.
Yeah. We'll see how those plans develop.
Yeah. It's just.
We did our episode 0, which was basically a practice run that we decided went well enough to post it anyways.
Yeah, 30 30-something likes in 10 days?
Yeah.
Or 37-something listens, not likes.
Yeah.
We only have 1 heart on SoundCloud, and I think that was me that accidentally clicked it.
Hey, you know what, though? We're doing good. So this is our first full episode. We got a lot more content to talk about than we did the last time.
Yeah.
So we decided that we were going to read some of the mean comments that we got from.
I think that should be an every week deal.
Yeah, I do.
Or in every we're not doing it every week, so in every podcast deal.
I was told that I sound like Bobcat Goldthwait.
What? What?
Yeah, the guy from Police Academy.
Yeah, I know who that is.
Yeah. I was told I sound like him. But and I was told that I should be more fluid in my delivery.
Yeah, well, I didn't know if that was directed at you or both of us. But you know what? Until you're actually sitting here trying to think and keep up with the microphone in your face, it's a little bit different than just talking.
Right.
Well, I mean, every now and then I forget it's there, but, like, sometimes I see the little green light on and I freeze up a little bit.
Well, I think we've done a little bit better this time than even last time, so we're going to continue to get better and better.
As we speak, I'm looking for the comments on the post.
Okay. But, so if you listen to this episode and have mean comments and you would like yours read,
make sure to
post them on our new Facebook page. It's facebook.com/Big D and J Rowdie Show.
Yep. Go check it out. Give it a like. We'll probably, we're going to have a couple,
we have some features on the page that we're still working on.
I don't know how to say, like, more interactive with our listeners. Or fans. It makes me sound kind of cocky when I say fans.
Of listeners.
Yes, the threes. We're known by tens.
Yeah.
But the threes of listeners, like, maybe a little bit more interactive. A couple segments on the show, maybe.
Yeah, we're working on maybe bringing in some guests, and even if somebody has to call in and talk to you guys on speakerphone, maybe we'll make that happen too.
Well, hold on. This badass mixing board that my cousin hooked us up with, they don't have to be on speakerphone. For those of you that don't know my cousin John, he does audio video stuff, and I was telling him, I'm like, look, man, this is what I read that I need as the bare minimum to do a podcast. And he's like, okay, yeah, no problem, because I'll just buy this stuff through him.
Right.
And then he comes back with you know me, I don't like doing the minimum, so I got you this mixing board. And I'm like, I don't even know how to use a little one,
right.
So this bad lad, we can plug in the headphone jack from this into that, and they'll just talk right through that.
Oh, wow.
But we need to have earphones so we can hear them.
Well,
so that's something, it does way more than what we need it, but it'll do that.
Well, it's going to grow with us.
Right. Next thing you know, we'll need a big one.
Yeah.
But
hey, I think we're doing good so far.
Yeah, so a couple interactive things on the Facebook page for us to talk about on the next show. If you even have something you think we should talk about on the next show,
feel free to comment, give us a like. If you'd like to keep in contact with us further, Rowdie has his page, facebook.com/thebully.
Yep.
For his car.
It's BULLEE.
Yes. And I have my page for my car, facebook.com/misconductracing. Keep up with both of us on Facebook and the show. So you feel free to give us a like, comment on our stuff, post some mean comments.
Mean comments, hate mail.
Yeah. We need to work on a email too. We don't have that yet. We'll work on that.
Yeah, we'll get that going. If you like the Facebook page, we'll post it on there first before probably before the next podcast.
Yeah,
that'll be up and going.
So, not sure when we're going to be able to meet up again. I've got some overtime coming up, it looks like, but
race car money.
Yeah, maybe we'll call it 2 weeks. See what happens.
That should be. I just sit at home, do nothing.
So. Okay. Well, I might not have overtime, so maybe we can do it sooner. But I don't want to promise something I can't keep.
Right.
So we'll call it 2 weeks. We'll see you.
Cool. See you in 2 weeks.